You're just in time for the Johnny Brew Show.
What's going on, everybody? My name is John Brookhagen, host of the Johnny Brew Show, and welcome to episode 3 of this election-included season of the Johnny Brew Show. We have got another jam-packed episode. Just in case you missed episodes 1 or 2, obviously still very relevant with the election coming up. Last week we had Mark Robertson, Dave Crete, as well as Mike Campion. The week before that, we had Sam Peters and Brittany Sheehan and Chris Dyer. Guys, we've got the best content about what's going on all over the world, especially how it relates to us here in Southern Nevada or Nevada as a whole. And I need you to like, I need you to subscribe. I have friends I was talking to today, somebody I've been friends with for 12 years. And we follow each other's stuff or whatever, and she follows and likes my stuff, and she doesn't get any notifications, even though she specifically wrote to notify her when I post stuff. I'm the most shadow banned person in history. I give you my word. And it's all good. I'm here for the quality. I told you guys since season 1, episode 1. If I had a dozen people who liked what I had to say and it, enlightened them, taught them something, and gave them some enjoyment, I'm all in. So I'm not going anywhere, but I would love to reach a wider audience, and that's only going to be possible if you literally share it with other people. Also, previous seasons, I don't know if you guys know, this is season 4. All right. I was talking to somebody about Christopher Columbus this morning as well. And I said, you know what? I covered that in season 1, episode 1 of the Johnny Brew Show. I talked about Christopher Columbus. And if you heard the episode, you understand what I'm referencing right there. And also, there's a whole bunch of stuff coming on about Michelle Fiore and Victoria Seaman and their little thing that's going on. And I don't know how many people even know. I got Michelle Fiore 90 minutes talking about all the details of exactly what happened with with Victoria Seaman, as well as the details never before explained like this about when the FBI raided her house and stuff like that. Sigal Chadha from last year, she's running for Attorney General this year, friend of the Johnny Brew Show. There's just so much content. Go back and look it up. All right? I promise you it'll be worth it. Now, today we have got an incredible episode once again. I really know how to toot my own horn, don't I? But I think this is super cool, guys. I'm telling you, 3 years ago, I was like, this is what we need to do. And I think it's just so cool that we got it together. We've got these great candidates. I've made some great relationships. I've met some wonderful people. And I really hope it culminates with the climax of November and turning Nevada red. So, we will see what happens. But first up today, we're going to have the candidate for, not Attorney General, but District Attorney here in Clark County. Timothy Treffinger is running against Democrat Steve Wolfson. And I don't know if you guys realize that crime has been getting worse. And there's something about personally being affected by something like crime. When you watch TV or you hear about crime in Seattle at the Chaz Chop Zone, or you've never been to New York City and you see some guy with a sledgehammer breaking windows at McDonald's, or that poor woman that got kicked in the face repeatedly on the subway station. If you're living in Southern Nevada and you've never even seen a subway station, it's almost as if it's a movie, as if you're disconnected from it. When you see that they just got their 1,000th carjacking in Philadelphia. Well, you've never seen a carjacking, you've never been to Philadelphia, and you say, boy, that sounds horrible. But, if I lived there, I would move. I wouldn't live somewhere where they have 1,000 carjackings, And it's when these things start to hit home is when you start to really worry about it. And that's something that shocks me even about just this election cycle. 2 decades ago in the 80s and 90s, gas prices or potential war with Russia or, an open border. These are things that would disqualify the party in power immediately. I mean, for 200 years, elections were won and lost with people's pocketbook, right? And the kitchen table issues, all right? Mommy and Johnny are not sitting around the kitchen table talking about when abortion should be legal and illegal at 24 weeks. That's not a kitchen table issue. Of course, that's a tough decision and a tough everything for whoever it is that's involved, but it's not something that's affecting everyday American families, including here in southern Nevada. Gas prices are. The price of housing, the employment market, these are things that are affecting us so much. Eggs going for $4 and bread twice as much as it used to be. Going to Walmart cost $200 instead of $100 when you just go and try to pick up some milk and eggs. These things are really affecting us. I don't understand why it's even a conversation. Democrats are really, I've never been a big party politic guy. I've never been 100% Republican. I've always leaned Republican, but I've never been 100% Republican until now. At this point, the lines are so distinct, and it's amazing. I don't understand how people are considering voting Democrat. In Democrat-run cities, they are the most expensive places to live. They have the most crime. People are dying from fentanyl, even here in Las Vegas, which is something we're going to be speaking with Timothy Treffinger about. Also, today, we're going to have friend of the Johnny Brew Show. I already told you guys, how much I love Jon Petrick, but he's going to be on today because all of a sudden this super nice guy, he was on the UFC TV shows. He's just a regular old doctor. He was hopping around to some of the news networks as I was prepping for the appearance today. All of a sudden, they're dressing him up like he's Darth Vader or something in these attack ads. And we're going to show you here on the Johnny Brew Show exactly how they manipulate things in order to try to make people look bad, that they really obviously can't dig anything up on them. And then finally, for 4 seasons now, at least 3 seasons, we've been waiting for Mindy Robinson to join us here on the Johnny Brew Show. And, we did change our format. She is one guest where I really wish we did have 90 minutes to really break things down with her, because she is all over the place. And I've got so many things to ask her. But being that today is actually the anniversary of October 1 and the tragedy that happened over at the festival across the street from Mandalay Bay, Mindy Robinson is probably the person who has most categorized and packaged all of the, I don't want to call it a conspiracy theory, because she packaged just a bunch of facts about, whether it's radio calls or air traffic control calls or eyewitness accounts and cell phone videos. And she didn't, obviously you could tell how she feels about what happened, but it was really predominantly a fact-based 2-hour documentary about 1 October. So we're going to ask Mindy Robinson about how she feels over a year after making that on this hallowed anniversary, as well as what people really want to know. Is she in secret undercover FBI agent? No. What people really want to know about Mindy Robinson is, does her running as a great liberty-minded libertarian cost Republicans elections? So that's what we're going to be talking about with her. So without further ado, I want to talk to you guys about some amazing video that came out a couple of weeks ago. All right? Talk about stuff hitting close to home. All right? This is something that began on the other side of town and pretty much ended, on another side of Las Vegas. So this entire carjacking, police chase, shootout in grocery store parking lots, this was going on all over Las Vegas. And I'm telling you guys that aren't from Las Vegas, we are not the war zone. All right, we are not New York City or Baltimore. All right, we are basically a city made up of one big street and a bunch of suburbs. All right, yet this is what's going on in the middle of the day on a September day in Las Vegas. Play tape.
Officers opened fire in the busy parking lot of a Las Vegas shopping center, taking aim at an armed carjacker going on a dangerous rampage across the city. It began earlier when police started trailing a silver sedan with a suspected carjacker behind the wheel. A police air unit was tracking him when he suddenly pulled up alongside a large Chevy Avalanche. The carjacker apparently deciding he wants that pickup instead.
Okay, he's stepping out of the vehicle. He's talking to the... He's trying to jack a car. Trying to force the driver out. It's going to be a white Chevy Avalanche. He just forced the driver out.
Vegas ground units quickly giving chase, even trying a high-speed pit maneuver.
It looks like he's firing out of the vehicle. He's firing out of the vehicle at our unit.
This is what it looked like from inside the patrol car.
Hit him, right here. Oh.
Take another look in slow motion, and you can see the carjacker leaning out the window, shooting at the pursuing officers.
809 units back off a bit. Let's give it some space. Let's let the air unit take this. He's firing around.
Then the air unit sees him try another carjacking.
He's slowing down now on Desert Inn, forcing a car off. He might be trying to hijack someone else. Yep, he's out of his vehicle. His car's running. He's got a gun pointed out at the victim here. It's firing into the victim vehicle. We have to get him stopped.
Deadly force. We need to stop this threat. They're still threatening citizens.
The rampaging driver pulling into a busy shopping center parking lot. Officers afraid he's going to try another carjacking. As ground units swarm the parking lot, the man does try to hijack another vehicle, this time a minivan.
Out of the vehicle, running through the complex. His vehicle's moving. Get in here, guys. Minivan. Get right in front of that minivan. He's pounding on the window trying to get in. Get all the way up to the block in if you can. He is shot at civilians, so if we can get that thing blocked in, get it done.
But they can't block him in. The driver takes off again.
We have shots fired again. Shots fired at the vehicle. Watch out for your crossfire, guys. Watch out for your crossfire.
This is what it looked like from the body cam of one of the pursuing officers. The chase was on again, this time at extreme speeds.
He just major 401 with our patrol vehicle. Roll 2 medicals for me, please. Major 401 with our patrol vehicle.
Another driver's dash cam capturing the sudden, violent impact.
Connects them to those panels.
Pursuing officers quickly getting out of their vehicles and approaching the wrecked white pickup with guns drawn. This is the body cam video of the officer who was hit. He was inside that squad car with his K9 Boris.
Boris, you okay? Boris!
Despite the incredible impact of a head-on collision at nearly 70 miles an hour, the officer and his K9 Boris didn't suffer any significant injuries. Police recovered this handgun inside the wrecked pickup. 40-year-old Justin Lee Venegas now facing a litany of charges, including multiple counts of attempted murder, armed robbery, and grand theft auto. Despite dozens of shots being fired by the suspect and police, no one was hit by gunfire. A standard use of force investigation now underway. Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe.
And like I said, I mean, when you start seeing gunshots going off at your local grocery store, which is this story, all right? You guys heard about the vape store owner, right? That's not too far away from me. These guys jumped over the counter, tried to rob him. He defended himself or his property and stabbed the guy like 7 times. That was right here over on Sahara. We're talking about Metro Police earlier this week said they responded to 6 deadly overdoses in the past 36 hours, at least 4 of which were related to fentanyl. And the one officer said, I know the dangers of fentanyl, but to actually be exposed to it firsthand was just beyond, and he trailed off in the video that we were watching earlier. That's what I'm talking about when it starts hitting home. All right? Fentanyl deaths nationwide have been on the rise. Here in Las Vegas in 2021, 871 overdose deaths here in Las Vegas. 248 being fentanyl related, which obviously is a brand new synthetic opioid. All right? Many times people are taking this by accident. I have an 18-year-old son. Pretty clean-cut kid, goes to school, gets straight A's. Not, as far as I know, smoking pot or drinking beer or nothing. What if one day somebody says, here's a Adderall to help you pay attention for your test because he was staying up too late studying? What if he decides that, hey, I twisted my ankle playing volleyball and my friend's got a Percocet that'll make me able to, get to class and walk around. Maybe it's totally legit. He just wants a little painkiller. And these kids, especially the ones who aren't drug purveyors or users, are the ones who are dying by popping a pill and boom, they're dead. People buy cocaine, boom, they're dead. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine, and according to the CDC, just 2 milligrams is considered a lethal dose. All right? Just a little while ago, on September 5th, Nevada State Police seized 56 pounds of it during a traffic stop near Ely, Nevada. All right? And one last thing. I live over here in Summerlin. Some guy was trying to sell his Rolex. He went to my local grocery store right here to meet some people to sell him the Rolex. While he was parked there, people just started shooting into his car trying to rob him. And he had to speed off and he's getting shot and everything else. Well, all of this is happening right here in Clark County. And we have somebody who is going to run against the current DA, Democrat Steve Wolfson, Timothy Treffinger. Timothy is deciding to run, he said to me, only because nobody else was running. That was his primary reason, that we need to have a Republican in every race. The Johnny Brew Show asked that we had at least one Republican in every race if for no other reason, just to get the statistics so we know where we stand. And Timothy decided to step up and run for district attorney here in Clark County, Nevada. He joins us right now on the Johnny Brew Show. Timothy, how are you?
Great, Johnny. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. I don't know how much you were able to see about this, but we're talking about, with all due respect, Las Vegas crime is definitely going up, but we're still not seeing the kind of stuff like people getting thrown onto the subway tracks like we're seeing in New York. We're not seeing the hordes of people just overtaking a gas station or a jewelry store too much here in Las Vegas like we're seeing maybe in San Francisco or Los Angeles. But obviously, if carjackings are going up in Philadelphia and people are bum rushing jewelry stores in San Francisco, if we continue to follow the same policies and the same democratic agenda that they are in these cities, we're probably going to end up like that. What's going on with crime here, and what do you think as a DA you can do it? And what is Steve Wolfson, in your opinion, not doing, which made you decide that you had to run?
Sure. Well, I've seen major crime in several different areas. I grew up in New Jersey, right outside of New York City, so I saw the crime there. I spent about 6 years in New Orleans, including the time around Katrina, and I worked for a campus police department there, so I saw the crime in that major city. And it's funny, you see the crime steadily increasing in Clark County. It's getting worse and worse every year. I think violent crime is up this year over 51%. And part of that does fall at the feet of Steve Wolfson. He is the top cop of the county. He is the one who needs to take a tough stance on crime. He needs to make sure that repeat offenders are not getting out on easy bails. He needs to make sure he's not making sweetheart deals. And he's not equally enforcing the law, which is really upsetting people. There's a lot of people who are getting deals who shouldn't, especially if they're higher profile people or people he knows or celebrities or things like that.
Can you give me an example of what you're referring to right there?
Sure. We've had some football players recently. One pulled a gun at an MGM ballet. It's on video. Metro says, why aren't charges being filed? The DA's office said we don't have enough evidence. We sent it back. And then you have Metro's own attorney coming out and saying, we sent you plenty of evidence. Why is this guy not getting charged?
All right. You know, it's funny you say that because my next question was going to be, are you picking and choosing your battles due to politics? Because you talk about Steve Wolfson being the top cop as a Democrat. Obviously, you're aware of the fact that running for governor on the Republican ticket is what somebody else might call the top cop of Clark County, the Sheriff Joe Lombardo. So you're saying that you believe that Joe Lombardo was doing his job in solving the case, but Steve Wolfson wasn't doing the job because he was deciding who to allow off?
Right, because a lot of people don't realize Metro can arrest people all day, but if the DA's office doesn't file charges, those people get released. It's the same thing at the state level with the Attorney General's office. If the state police bring a case, unless the AG in that case picks up the case, nothing happens. So you can only put so much blame on Metro. There's a lot of great officers in Metro. In fact, there's a lot of great attorneys in the DA's office. But when you don't have leadership and you don't have him involved on the front line in trying cases and being involved with his deputies, that's when you see these inconsistencies. If he's only stepping in to help out the people he's friendly with, that's a problem. He needs to be more plugged in.
Right. What do you mean by not going to trials or participating in trials? Like, I mean, he's the DA. I mean, he's pretty much the boss of the DA's office. Is he like, he's not prosecuting cases himself? He's just delegating everything, or?
In the entire time he has been in office, he has not picked up a file and walked into court and prosecuted a case. Not one. I've done more jury trials in my past years as an attorney. I've been an attorney for about 10 years than he has in the entire time he's been in the DA's office. And that is insane. Don't get me wrong. It's an administrative position, but you can't make sure your policies are being followed. You can't be plugged in with what's going on in the courtroom if you're never there. And that's a serious issue. It's
like being a restaurant manager. Sometimes you're going to have to bus a table. Sometimes you're going to have to run out a piece of meat, right? Talk to a customer.
Exactly.
Yep. I got you. And, because the one thing that some Republicans have said is that Steve Wolfson is pro-death penalty. Nevada crime is not quite as bad. When you said that you saw nobody running against him, what was besides the cronyism, do you think, his stats are bad, or is he easy on crime? Is he a proponent of this no cash bail type of stuff?
He has been very cagey about bail reform, in my experience. He's very cagey about pretty much everything. He's the consummate politician. He doesn't like to answer direct questions. I will say this. I think he has been very soft on crime. I think he's been okay with, decriminalizing the low-level shoplifting stuff, letting the amounts get raised. And that sort of stuff feeds into everything else. You have people, organized shoplifting rings that are operating in order to feed their drug habit. Then you have the opioids that come in. It's all connected. When you're too soft on the low-level stuff, and I say low-level, anytime there's an organized shoplifting ring affecting our small businesses and hurting their businesses to the point they have to close, that's not a small thing. But it plays into everything else. Then there's more money to be, illegally pawning things. There's more money to buy drugs. It all cycles. And that's what you're seeing as crime steadily gets worse and the violent crime goes up.
All right, and then regarding like the campaign, how's it going? Are there any polls that you've heard of recently? Are you able to raise money? Are you hearing a lot of support? Are you campaigning with anybody else, such as some of the statewide candidates or with Joe Lombardo or anything like that?
The campaign's been slow and steady. We've been very grassroots. There hasn't been a lot of donations until recently, but we're now getting billboards out. We're getting TV ads out. There's one that just was approved today that's going to be going out on all the major networks. We recently got support from Joey Gilbert, who's a former governor candidate, and also Thomas Renz, who's one of the attorneys who has been really big with fighting the COVID lockdowns and things of that nature across the country. So we are seeing the tide start to change. People are recognizing my name, and it's getting out there, and you can kind of feel the tide turning now.
All right, well, Timothy, we wish you the best of luck and Godspeed with your campaign. And, really, thanks for coming on the Johnny Brew Show and talking to us about what's going on here in Southern Nevada.
Oh, it was my honor. Anytime, Johnny. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tim. Have a good one. All right, so that's Timothy Treffinger. All right, not Finger. Timothy Treffinger. And he, again, is running for the district attorney here in Clark County. It's funny, every time I hear the word district attorney, I think of Batman and Two-Face. You know, I guess that's how I was introduced to the district attorney, right? All right. So, as we continue, I don't know if you guys are aware, but when Infinity the Math Institute is supporting the Johnny Brew Show the way it does, I'm actually the lead tutor for Infinity the Math Institute, and I wanted to show you what it looks like when I'm teaching you guys something. Do you have something ready for us? All right, play tape. This is... Hey everybody, it's Mr. Brew from Infinity, the Math Institute. Some of our biggest fans have been asking for a new video on tipping. Well, tipping is usually a minimum of 15%. What does that even mean? It means if your bill was $100, you'd leave a $15 tip. Well, how do we get that? Well, 10% is simply moving the decimal spot over. Half of 10% is 5%. You add those together and you get 15%. So what if your bill was $40? Well, 10% of 40 is 4. Half of 10% is 5%. So 15% would be $6 on a $40 bill. I know, the numbers aren't always that nice. Well, let's pretend the bill was $64.35. We could just round a little bit. 10% would be $6.40. Just simply moving it over. Half of 10% is $3.20. So 15% would be $9.60 on a $64 bill. There you go, guys, right? So, that's Infinity the Math Institute. You could go to themathinstitute.com or you could call 702-768-1777. You could text or call 702-768-1777. And I pulled out that video because I was watching another video of a friend of the Johnny Brew Show right here. And, you know, I'm telling you, I got a good read of people, whatever you want to call it. I used to play poker. I work with kids. Whatever reason, I got an innate ability. But when I meet people, I know when I meet somebody good. And Jon Petrick was a good guy from the word go. And I got a real good vibe from him right away. And I've been supporting him ever since. And I'm guessing some of you guys are probably sick of hearing about how much I support Jon Petrick. But whatever. So... I hear some people are talking smack about my boy Jon Petrick, and as I'm trying to prepare for his appearance to talk about this is the same guy that I know now as 12 years ago. Watch this. 12 years ago, Jon Petrick. Play tape.
I was injured in a car accident in 1993, and I went to a doctor, many different doctors, and once I found active release techniques, the doctor had fixed me in about 9 to 10 weeks. I thought, this is exactly what I want to do. This is where I wanted to be. And I actually was just working at Bank of America as a stockbroker at the time. And I ended up leaving there and went to Kansas City to get a chiropractic license and take on active release.
Tell me, if you can, as descriptive as you can be about soft tissue therapy.
Well, when there's an injury, John, whether it be acute or cumulative, something that builds up over time, the body sticks the tissue together kind of like a paintbrush with the paint left in the bristles. Now, this happens every single time. We know this always occurs. We know what cells are in the area. We know what's going to happen to the tissue. When the fibers adhere and stick together, they lose their elasticity. They're more plastic rather than elastic. So what happens is that person will lose a tensile strength, the tissue will lose its integrity and won't be as elastic. So what you'll see is a lot of times you see patients who can't move their neck or they can't move their back. And it is an actuality that they biomechanically can't do it. It's just the tissue itself won't allow it to occur because it's lost the resiliency or the elasticity to do so.
And there you go, guys. This is the same guy I met about 9 months ago, maybe a year ago. Enthusiastic, can explain things really well, has a firm grasp of what's important. He wants to help people, and that's only 25% of the story. Between the work that he does with the Thin Blue Line, he works with children, he's got a ranch where he hosts the kids. He's done everything and anything he can to be part of the community, news appearances, UFC doctors, everything else. So without further ado, it's Mr. Dr. Jon Petrick. What's up, doctor? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. You unmute yourself there.
Sorry.
Beautiful.
Man, you guys had to dig that one up.
That's right, man. Looking through the archives. And I didn't tell you I was going to do it. Did you like it?
Oh, yeah, man, that's good. You know, I actually remember that day that I actually did that interview. There was a UFC fighter who was struggling, and we actually fixed him, and he actually ended up with an incredible career in the UFC. And it was that day. Shane Roller was his name. I don't want to take the credit. Shane was a great fighter, but he.
It was all you, bro. It was all you.
Yeah, and but thank you for that. Thank you for that introduction. It is the camp. You know, I want to, if I can, real quick. Your previous guest, I was watching the show. That guy don't get enough credit, man. That's a brilliant dude. That guy is so smart. He is really well put together. I mean, his legal background, his doctrine, and how he knows it. He really is a brilliant guy. I wish he had more support out there than he does, but he's tough. He's fighting so darn hard. I see him out there. The kid, Tim is a great guy. He really is brilliant, John. I mean, I've been around a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The same thing. Yeah, I've been around a lot of people.
Yeah, so
there's not a lot of really good ones.
We put in an incredible day with Mark Robertson today.
Mark Robertson, yeah, he's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, Colonel Mark was out there. We had we're in my truck. I got this big panel truck. My mom.
Am I gonna get to drive the truck?
You're gonna get to drive and come be one of our guest drivers. We did several hundred homes today. So just so you know, we were out there busting our butts. It was interesting while we were out there. I had knocked on a door, and the lady had just come from the mailbox when I was walking down the street, and I saw her, and I knocked on her door, and she came in and she says, "Oh, I recognize you." And I was like, "You do?" And she held up a flyer of me in like the Chinese outfit, where I'm wearing this like Chinese goofy outfit, and they make some stuff up. So it's interesting. But anyhow,
and that's why I had you come on the show today, is because I wanted to address this. I think we got some pictures of this, and I'm sorry, maybe because it's not happening to me. I think it's super cool. I mean, I love it. I think it's awesome. I think that, most people, I believe, see through the BS. So when people start writing stuff like this, well, first of all, what we have on the screen right now is the original tweet or Facebook post or something, and you got a picture of you and your ex-fiance and your ex-wife.
First and foremost, let me give a shout out to them. Both my ex-wife and my ex-fiance, they have been great people. Obviously, they've moved on. They're remarried, both of them. They're great women. The video you showed, John, was the active release skill set. That's what that whole video was discussing, the video you just showed about me.
Right.
And it's a skill set. Let's just assume I kind of became like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of that skill set. And both my ex-wife and ex-fiance really wanted treatment that day. And they need their necks, I can't go into it, but they needed some work done.
Right.
And I'm such a professional, John, that I don't harbor any resentment.
You're down to earth. You wear your heart on your sleeve. I mean, these girls know you. I mean, maybe things didn't work out, but if you know Dr. John, I would believe that they'd be cool. Anyway, so what did you write in this particular post where obviously, A, you're not running for political office, and B, it's kind of funny. You're sitting there in the lobby with your ex-wife and your ex-girlfriend. And what did you write on there?
I wrote something like, I must be a good guy if, both my ex-wife and my ex-fiance come in for care. I have my hands around their neck and don't kill either one of them or something like that. And it was taken out of context.
And then wait, but stop right there. So show me what the political ads look like now that they wrote. Do we have the other pictures? Oh, there we go. Is that the quote right there? I think so. And they have a scared person with your picture and your name. And then do we have another picture of some of the other mailers?
And, John, this is why people hate
dangerous.
Politics. Yeah, this is why people hate politics. That's both of these women don't deserve that narrative. They're great women. It's interesting that they took this approach with me. Because let me explain. My campaign manager is a woman. She runs the show. She's my babysitter. This woman, Erica, she got me dialed in. In my office, my main medical office, Mersada. She's from like Czechoslovakia. She's Eastern Bloc. She's dialed in. She's so organized and she's so complete.
Right.
Everybody sees how close I am with my mother, my daughter. Everybody sees all of this. So I think you're taking a swipe at me because I'm a single guy, but I work a lot, John. Not a lot of people can handle this life. I mean, I worked, 14 hours every day.
We haven't done.
That's a long time, and I'm committed and dedicated to the people of Nevada. And right now, I have to put that side of my life on hold. So I have, and it's sorry that they took that approach with me. It's too bad.
I know. I heard it's something happening. We have another friend of the Johnny Brew Show, Kelly Quinn. I heard it's happening to him right now as well. And I just think that, first of all, again, I think it's super cool that it's happening to you and Kelly, because I know and like you guys, that I think it's a sign that these people are really worried. And look at that. There's Kelly Quinn right there. Kelly, right before I went on air, I was setting up the show with Dr. John, and I saw on social media that you were getting the same kind of treatment. How's that make you feel?
Yeah, you like that, huh?
I think it's cool. How do you think? How do you take it?
If this is all they got, then that's sad. But, some of the comments they've made, the first couple of flyers I actually liked. I hope they'd send them out some more. I think they're helping us far better than hurting us.
Right. They made John look like a Chinese emperor, and then they made you look like Obi-Wan Kenobi or something.
So there was one that came out today, though, when I was out door knocking. One of the guys handed me it. He just picked it up out of his mailbox. And it's really attacking my work as a correctional officer. It talks about the prisons, and it talks about the civil rights and the strip searches and all this.
Because you implemented that policy?
In a prison, strip searches are necessary for
you think?
the security of the staff and the other inmates. So there are certain procedures that are done that they're trying to blow out of proportion.
Yep.
But I think it's helping more than hindering. So
good. I know you guys a little bit, and I know that, that you are not Darth Vader or the Chinese Emperor, and you guys are both really good guys. And I just think it's because you guys have struck a nerve, and they realize that we got some real, honest, down-to-earth, the regular guys that, because people always say, I want a regular guy to run for office. And you don't want the regular guy that works at the gas station, but we got a regular guy, a corrections officer, a doctor. You guys are the regular guys that we've been wanting to get into politics for a long time. So my hat's off to both of you guys for running. Thank you so much. And, I hope to have you both back on the show real soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, John.
I just want to add one thing. Both Kelly and I, and I'm sure Kelly will say this too, our campaigns aren't going to run negative ads. We're going to stay positive for the people. That's not who we are. We're going to stay positive. We're taking the high road. They spelled my name wrong in one of the ads, and our reply was, if you're going to try to insult me, at least spell my name right. We want to downplay it. We really want to beat them on their record. They've let the people down of Nevada. They see it. You can't hide from your voter record. And I just want to say, Kelly, I've known you, and this is a great thing. Don't let them get under your skin. That means we're working, because they're pulling out the cheapest shots they got. The people see through it. Johnny's going to make sure that the people know that it's all going away. It's unfortunately, it's a terrible narrative. Thank you, Johnny.
No, my pleasure.
Things too in our campaign is we want to attack her policies, never her personally on us. So,
well, there's plenty to attack on their policy. Don't worry about that, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Godspeed, and we'll see you real soon. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
And now I'm really, really thrilled, because we're having somebody on the show that's been a friend of the Johnny Brew Shows for a long time, but never quite made it on. Again, I wish I could have her for 90 minutes, but we're going to get her for 10 minutes and get her thoughts about October 1. But also, she's also willing to step up and run down ticket for Assembly in 35, but not as a Republican, as a Libertarian. Here's the Mindy Robinson campaign video.
Of watching the government waste your hard-earned money. Would you like to remind corrupt officials what the Constitution is? Are you pretty sure Biden didn't win the election? I'm Mindy Robinson, Libertarian candidate for Nevada Assembly 35, and for years I've been exposing corruption as a journalist. I'm pushing for school choice, medical freedom, election integrity, cutting taxes by ending government waste, and banning lobbyist unions and PACs from donating to and influencing political campaigns. It's time to return the power to the people. ElectMindyRobinson.com.
And there you go, guys. So let me tell you, I was actually going to intro Mindy with a different video where she talks a lot about the October 1 occurrence and all the timeline of events and everything that happened, and I was mesmerized by it. I watched it more than 2 times because it was so intriguing. And she lays out her resume a little bit in the beginning of that video, but my producer wouldn't let me even use the video because you could see that algorithm has some sort of tag. They do not want you watching that video. So we went with the safer one. We went with the off-brand, not YouTube, and just her safe little 30-second video. But without further ado, let me welcome Mindy Robinson to the show. Hey, Mindy.
Hey, how are you doing?
Very, very good. How you doing?
Looks like the Wi-Fi's working, so I'm excited.
Yes, I'm going to keep my fingers
and
crossed.
No hair and makeup. How many people do podcasts with that?
I know. You look great. And how's the campaign going?
I mean, I'm the only, I'm the only one running that's politically active. I'm not a politician promising to do things. I've been doing these things for years. I just want to be in a better position to do them. And I'm up against people that aren't doing anything. My own rep, never seen him anywhere. Tiffany Jones, never seen her by my side at a rally. And this is what I'm up against. And this is what Nevada's up against. We're up against these career politicians. They want to make money on their campaigns. They only care about our rights when it's time to ask for money. And then they don't do anything in the interim. And we need to change that. We need to get real people into these offices, many of which are part-time positions that veterans or stay-at-home moms can do. We need.
Well, at least that's what they were originally intended to be.
Want to be a politician? Yeah, a republic. Oh my gosh, it was supposed to be something you do when you retire. I mean, I never did the military, so for me, this is my civic duty. I can donate a few years of my life and try to put the country on track because waiting for other people to do the right thing isn't going to happen. If I don't do it and a few other people don't do it, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and I keep talking about how you're a friend of the Johnny Bruce Show. And I've been wanting to have you on for a long time. And one of the reasons why I feel so connected to you is before I ever knew who Mindy Robinson is, because about a year or 2 ago, I did a little bit of research. I'm like, whoa, she's got a lot of stuff going on. But the first time I ever spoke at a rally, the first time I ever showed up because I was like, I just can't take it anymore, you were there. Outside the Luxor, and we were gathering people and we were peacefully protesting during the COVID shutdowns, and you could tell that you were one of the people that had been around the block, that had been a leader, that knows what's going on politically and stuff like that. And I saw you as a leader. I started getting involved with like the Clark County Republican Party. And that's where I saw you also. And then I also saw people who didn't like you so much because she's not even a Republican. She's not allowed to be even speaking here. And then, like I said, doing some research on you, you've really done so much in terms of your acting career and then your investigative journalism. And then I didn't even realize you had a celebrity boyfriend. And you are so interesting. Some people have even said that you're actually an FBI plant because nobody could be as interesting as you without actually working for the CIA or something. So I got to confront you with this. Do you work for the CIA?
I'm killing my agent. I mean, I do not work for the CIA. My God, I hate the government. I mean, you just scroll down my timeline. And I can't remember, I saw something where they were like, they have to read our Facebook messages to figure out if we're anti-government. Read the messages. It's been on my post for like 6 years. I'm a small government. I want I mean, why do I want to pay taxes? If they got billions to send to Ukraine, then they don't need my money. And I think America's waking up to that, we don't need to lose services. We just need to cut government waste. And my God, are they wasting it?
And that's one of the crazy things is, Democrats.
I thought care about money and fame.
Democrats are always, pointing the finger saying conservatives are closet racist or closet bigots or they just want to have these secret plans. And then I think about people like you and some of the other people I know, and they wear what they believe on their sleeve. They scream it from the rooftop. Like you said, you don't have to be a secret agent to find out that Mindy Robinson loves, liberty and wants, the smaller government and lower taxes and, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, but on that one little thing, all the Republicans are going to be secret racists that they don't scream from the rooftops. That's their one belief that they're going to keep in their back pocket.
I mean, projection is kind of the game of the left. Everything they have ever accused us of, we're Nazis, we're fascists, we're racist, we're sexist. They're even worse. And like, we're not supposed to notice that. They are
threats to democracy.
The projection game. They could send themselves to the moon.
And basically, everything they start saying we're doing.
Accuse us of their worth.
And I'm sorry about the lag, so I'm sorry if I keep cutting you off or whatnot. I'm trying to work through it. But let's keep going. I got you on today because it is.
What is a lag? I just thought you were messing with me.
No, it is the anniversary of October 1. And like I said repeatedly on the show, you seem to have the most detailed chronological, reporting of the what they are saying on the news. And there's a couple of things I wanted to ask you. Number one, what does this anniversary make you think of? And what do you think of when you see that, for example, the governor's races between Sisolak and Lombardo, and your experience with what you know about, everything that's happened? What do you look back 5 years later?
I called it. I'd been to Route 91 the year before. Something happened. I could not go that year. I was flying overseas for like a 10-hour flight. Everyone thought I was dead. And that attack hit home for me. I mean, my friends saw people get murdered in front of them, and we never got answers. And as an investigative journalist, what kind of journalist would I be if I don't even look in my backyard? And I couldn't believe when I started researching that people had put pieces together. They'll put the helicopter together. They'll put the gunshots together. No one sat down and actually pieced together what happened. And that's why I did it in a timeline, because that's how I had to figure it out. I'm like, this is insane. And so I broke it down minute by minute. And that kind of puts it in a perspective of, as it happened, so that people can understand that there were gunshots long after Paddock was dead. There's a lot of things that don't make sense. And when people woke up the next day, you would have thought a different thing. Everything was Paddock and the Mandalay family. What about the Bellagio? What about all this stuff that no one is talking about? The hard drive walking off a crime scene. And if you see my documentary, and you got cops eating snacks off a hot crime scene, probably the biggest crime scene they'll ever see in their life. What the hell is going on?
All right. Well,
There were 3 people registered.
I told you I wanted to have you on for 90 minutes because of just this. I have to get to a couple other things, but I do there are some people who haven't seen your video. Can you tell us what happened 5 years ago, almost to the minute, actually, 5 years ago today? What happened in 60 seconds? What truly happened?
That's the thing. This is a solvable. What actually happened, I can't really tell you. I can tell you what didn't happen, and that's the narrative that they're pushing. The only reason the federal government would cover this up, would not investigate the 3 people in the room that were registered, that would not investigate the door locks going off, so obviously there was more than one person, that would not investigate who else could get away with 3 helicopters turning off their transponders 10 minutes before the shooting, and they go on the second it stops. Who could do that other than our own government?
All right, since you could tell me what didn't happen,
and that's why we're not getting answers.
Let me tell you what, and now I am not an investigative reporter. I did watch a special. I have watched a whole bunch, as much as I could get, which is not that much out there. But this is my theory, and this is why I don't hold Joe Lombardo as much to blame as maybe you might. What I believe happened is that something was going on where they wanted to assassinate this Saudi prince who is on the outs with the rest of his family, and they're afraid of him becoming the king and them losing power, prestige, or whatnot. Then they set up this weapon buy in order to have a whole bunch of weapons, create some sort of distraction in order to get this assassination done. Then, of course, our relationship with Saudi Arabia is very important in many different respects, whether you're talking about our other relationship with Iran or oil or OPEC or money and yada, yada, yada. So people like Trump had to take care of this and make sure nobody really, you see what happened when just that reporter got killed over in Turkey, I think it was worldwide news. So if a Saudi prince gets murdered on U.S. soil, it's going to be, or even attempted to be murdered, it's going to be too much of a story. So that's why this narrative happened. Trump told them what to do. They told Lombardo what to do. And they told Lombardo, hey, you know, you'll be governor one day. Just do me a favor and just nod and smile. I have no evidence to back up anything I just said, but could I be anywhere close to the truth?
No, I hear that. I hear the Saudi prince thing all the time. Personally, the Saudi prince is a red herring to put people off. Number one, we're friends with Saudi Arabia. Who do you think helped with 9/11? You want to look into the Boston bombing, you'll find a Saudi that we let go right back to the people. We work with the Saudis on things like this. If we wanted to kill the prince, there were easier ways. Definitely easier ways than creating the most obvious freaking distraction in the world with no solution. That might have been a secondary thing that they were going after, but everything I've seen, everything I looked at, the number one thing they were going after is I believe they wanted the entire Second Amendment. I believe they wanted semi-automatic weapons. Now, why would this guy lose his mind and you know, he's going to shoot all these people? Only half the guns had scopes, but every gun had a bump stock. I believe it was a gun sale. I believe he got killed, and then they completed the terrorist attack, and he was a spook that messed up. I think our government effed up.
Oh, at least we got a little something from you, a little hypothesis from Mindy Robinson. I like that. I got that out of you. All right. Also,
no, I think they were going for the entire Second Amendment, but they messed up and they had to drop the story. There were too many holes and they couldn't push it, but they got bump stocks, which is so important to them.
They did get that.
Crap. But we were about to legalize suppressors and we were about to legalize universal carry. And within 24 hours, Paul Ryan, that piece of crap, pulled it. And that's what it was. Every time there's a false flag, they take a right. They take a right, whether it's the Patriot Act or another gun right, or like Sandy Hook, where you can't even look for public records anymore. Every time they kill us, they take something. And the mistake they made was they shot at us, a pro-Second Amendment country crowd. Old ladies could tell that the guns were coming from different directions and what calibers they were, and the parallel directory, and nothing made sense. They shot at the wrong people. We will not give up our guns. And I think these people deserve answers, and the only way to make sure this doesn't happen again is to, I mean, there's footage, the Tropicana's footage, that's what they took, the high def.
Well, I mean, and as of now, the death toll is actually 60 people, and I hope, you know, they can rest in peace. But one thing I do want to address is you are obviously a freedom lover. You hang out with Republicans. I know this. You're friends with Republicans. You have the same beliefs as many of the people that I have the same beliefs as. Are you hurting Republicans? A, are you voting down ticket everything libertarian, such as governor and any other race that might have a libertarian candidate? And number two, are you damaging Republicans' chance to turn Nevada red?
I think I'm giving them another option. I mean, I cross party lines. I don't care about party lines. I care about the candidate. I backed Joey Gilbert for 2 years because I believed in him. I saw him fighting. I saw him by my side at the rallies. What I'm doing as a libertarian is offering people a solution. We just saw the GOP rig their own primary and push every America candidate first out in lieu of Lombardos and establishment lackeys and pieces of crap that are going to keep the status quo that honestly both parties need to keep going. I mean, the GOP is never going to vote to give themselves a pay cut or less power or shrink the government, but libertarians will. And in a district where there are more independents and nonpartisans than either of the other two, and people are disenfranchised from both sides, I have a good chance of winning in a fair election.
Yeah, but I feel like you do. You're Mindy Robinson. You've got a YouTube channel. You've been on a lot of TV shows. You've been in music videos. You're obviously outspoken at rallies. So maybe you can do this, but the general libertarian, most of them, including this guy Brandon, who seems like a nice enough guy, they really don't have any prayer. So what are you thinking about some of these other races where you have libertarians that don't have a prayer, but they could be the difference in a Republican winning a seat?
The problem is If you just watched what happened to Clark County, other than Segal and Marchant and a few other people that just didn't have opponents, they are all rhinos. I'm offering people in District 35 to not vote for a do-nothing Tiffany Jones, who's completely backed by the same people as Lombardo, dark money back. I'm giving people the option. I'm doing all these things people say they're going to do, but they're not. And I don't think we're splitting them. There are more nonpartisans and independents in Nevada than either of the other two parties, and I don't think people realize that. And the other thing with the Libertarian parties, I'm not trying to vote for president or maybe even governor. It's a small government party. It is perfect for school boards and assembly seats and state, all those things. It's a small government thing. Let's build a strong, sovereign Nevada. Look at what Florida is. Look how amazing Florida is because it built itself as a strong, sovereign state. And I want that for Nevada. And only by crossing party lines can we do this. We've got to reel the GOP in. They're out of their freaking mind. They're gutless. They're spineless. And the Democrats are cutting up kids. I mean, this is madness. We have to be unorthodox. What we're doing is not working, and are not going to vote our way out of this, honestly.
Well, the one thing I can definitely agree with you on is that it's not working at the moment. And again, I'm really glad I know you're really busy. I know you're far and you are someplace where you don't even have a good internet connection, but I'm really glad you took the time to join us on this, anniversary. And I'm glad we got a chance to hear from you. And again, when I go back to a long interview format, you're going to be one of my first calls, all right?
I love it. Okay.
All right, Mindy, thank you so much, and good luck with your campaign. That's Mindy Robinson. She's running for Assembly District 35 on the Libertarian ticket. And, regardless of what's going on with her party affiliation, she's a real great patriot, somebody who I've had nothing but positive interactions with, and I get a good vibe from her for whatever that may be worth. All right, so we do have an election coming up. All right, guys, try to get involved. Do your best, especially when you're talking about like school board seats. Some of these school board seats, we have two Democrats running against each other. So you live in that district, please do some research and decide who you think is going to be better. I don't care if it's the lesser of two evils or somebody's more honest, whatever the case may be. If you want my opinion in the Democrat versus Democrat District F race, I support Danielle Ford only because I believe she is misguided with some of her politics, but her heart's in the right place and she does do what she thinks is best. Just for the record, you got Cavazos versus Greg Weeman, who's a friend of the Johnny Brew Show, so obviously we're supporting the conservative Weeman. And then we have another Democrat versus Democrat race, Brenda Zamora versus Irene Zepeda. I mean, that is absolutely not the best matchup the Johnny Brew Show could hope for. But, 51-49 Irene Zepeda on the Johnny Brew Show. That's not an endorsement by any means, all right? Guys, there's some other stuff going on. Guys, we need to stick together. I'm hearing people that really just don't like each other, all right? Guys, we are a month and a half out, less than a month and a half out from the election. So I'm going to need you guys to, I'm not even going to entertain the soap opera. I really wanted to because some of it is really comical. But we really need to, not be trashing each other, especially in the press. Especially when it's talking about stupid stuff that really doesn't pertain. If you are a Republican and you don't like a Republican candidate, let's talk about the Republican candidates you do support. That's all. I'm going to leave it just at that. All right? My name is John Brookhagen. I need you to literally share and literally subscribe and like. I hear things like there's 3 dots and you just don't follow the page. You also got to like it. Guys, text this to other people. Let other people know. I'm doing this simply to expose people like Mindy Robinson and Timothy Treffinger and Jon Petrick and Kelly Quinn. It's just for us to start to get to know each other. I got no ulterior motives. Nobody's making money over here. I'll tell you that right freaking now. All right? I'm putting in all this effort. my beautiful producer, these people coming on the show. It's because we need to set up a parallel media organization. And nobody is digging deep into the national and local stories to find out how it affects you and what can we do to make our lives better. And our children's lives better, more importantly. So please, just help me out. I really appreciate all the support. You guys are doing a great job. You people, I know we're preaching to the choir a lot, but you people who are getting out and trying to get involved, poll watching, walking, making phone calls, helping a candidate, contributing to a candidate, God bless you all right? At least we're trying to do something. So God bless you all, whether you're Rob Lauer, Natalie Thomas, Mindy Robinson. God bless all of you. I love all of you. You guys know it, all right? So, subscribe, like, share. My name is John Brookhagen. This is the Johnny Brew Show. Thank you so much.